All right, it's time for it's Ted Cruz's CPAC speech. We're gonna watch Ted Cruz talk for 17 minutes straight. I'm sorry. I apologize. If you can't handle that, leave.
Ladies and gentlemen, to discuss the Bill of Rights, liberty, and cancel culture, please welcome from the great state of Texas, Senator Ted Cruz.
God bless CPAC.
Oh, God, I'm already in pain. That's loud, too. I'm sorry.
I gotta say, Orlando is awesome. It's not as nice as Cancun.
That was his opening line? That's his opener joke? Hey, guys, remember how I abandoned my constituents during a crisis? Beautiful. If he shit talks AOC during this after she raised millions of dollars for his constituents while he was on a fucking plane with his family going to Mexico, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind.
But it's nice. And I gotta say, what an amazing array of speakers here at CPAC. For a second there, I thought we were in Des Moines. That one took people a minute.
I don't get it.
We are gathered in dark times. We're gathered at a time where the hard left, where the socialists control the levers of government.
Oh, God, I wish. Please, Ted Cruz. I wish this was like a, I don't know, like a Wonder Woman thing. Wonder Woman 1984, but instead, the vision that right-wingers have of the left from CPAC becomes reality.
Where they control the White House, where they control every executive branch, where they control both houses of Congress.
Oh, I guess you guys shouldn't have sucked so bad and ran Donald Trump, one of the least liked presidents in the last 50 years.
Bernie is wearing mittens. And AOC is telling us she was murdered.
Yeah, you were there, Ted. You all almost were killed. People were around trying to kill you. Probably not you, because you supported Trump, but like everyone else. And again, I assume this is on the bingo card, AOC something. Might not be on me. Oh no, I have AOC as a bartender, but I don't have just insulting AOC. I'm going to count that as insulting Bernie, though, the mittens thing, because of the meme.
And the media desperately, desperately, desperately wants to see a Republican Civil War. Liberty is under assault, and what are we going to do? I'll tell you, we will fight.
This is all vacuous. Say something substantive, Ted. What's your plan? You guys lost. You guys lost and then attempted to overthrow the government? What's your plan now, Ted? Freedom! I'm just gonna say the word freedom over and over again.
Listen to William Wallace. And let me tell you, the media here looks at the men and women gathered here, at the young people gathered here, as dangerous radicals.
being a fascist, I'm not saying every Republican is a fascist, but there's a good chance if you're at CPAC, you're at least friends with fascism, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're dangerous. That's how that worked. We had a whole world war over this, guys.
This is...
You sent me the call sheet? Thank you, Baja. Twitter, I assume? Let me pull it up real quick.
the Rebel Alliance.
Wait, do you guys like Star Wars now, or do you hate it because the Gina Carano thing? I'm confused. Do you like Star Wars, or do you hate Star Wars? Hold on, I'm pulling up the bingo call sheet. There we go. Sweet. Thank you.
And Vader and the Emperor.
Ted, we know exactly what Vader and the Emperor were stand-ins for in Star Wars, and it wasn't the left. It was Nazis. They're fascists. They couldn't be any clearer in the visual identification of fascist visuals than in Darth Vader. Like, have you seen what the... Hold on. Have you literally seen, like, what the goddamn people wear who are part of the Empire? They're not supposed to be liberals. They're fascists. Their main ground troops are literally called stormtroopers, which was what Hitler called his personal guards. Like, the fascist imagery is everywhere. It's not subtle. It's not subtle.
And let's be clear, they're not your father. Are terrified of the rebels who are here, and I'm proud to tell you, Gina Carano is standing with us.
We're 3 minutes in, Ted. How are you gonna win things back? What are your policy positions? So far, you've said, yeah, we lost the election. You made a joke about the fact that you abandoned your constituents. You referenced Braveheart, a movie that I'm not even sure younger people know exists. Gina Carano reference, and shitting on Bernie and AOC. Say something that means something, Ted. What's the plan?
So what do we do? What do we do at a time where...
What's Braveheart? It's a movie that starred Mel Gibson about William Wallace. Braveheart is a 1995 American epic historical fiction war film directed and co-produced by Mel Gibson, who portrays William Wallace, a late 13th century Scottish warrior. The film depicts the life of Wallace leading the Scots in the first war of Scottish independence against King Edward I of England.
Where the hard left is resurgent. Two very simple things. Number one, we defend liberty. Look, are there tensions in our party? Sure. Because we believe in diversity. We believe in individuality.
We believe in diversity. We believe that a white guy with this opinion and a white woman with this other slightly different, more conspiratorial opinion should all be able to get together and make sure trans people don't have rights, okay? We're all for diversity in our ability to put our boots on the necks of people we collectively disagree with.
Different people have different views. We aren't the Borg enforcing... I may have committed a cardinal sin mixing Star Wars and Star Trek.
Oh, he's trying to be so relatable, and I hate it. Hello, fellow kids. Do you like the Star Wars? Do you like the Star Treks? Is a reference to 1980s Star Trek The Next Generation hip enough for you? Do you remember Resistance is Futile, kids? Do you remember that cliffhanger?
Next thing you know, you're going to cross the streams, and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's going to come.
Oh, I've also seen Ghostbusters! I remember Ghostbusters! So I like Ted Cruz now! Yay! Star Wars! Ghostbusters! What is he? Ted! We're 4 minutes into this speech! Say anything! Say anything. Say literally anything that means anything.
Just too many terrible references there. We don't believe in uniformity, but I'll tell you what can unite conservatives and libertarians and those who value the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is a love of liberty.
Oh, so I should have the liberty to go and live my life as a trans woman without being impeded and without being discriminated against for my intrinsic identity? Thanks, guys. I'm sure that's internally consistent with all the other things you support.
And the left, they tell you who they are, particularly in a global pandemic. As Rahm Emanuel said, you never want to waste a good crisis. And who boy, these guys don't.
How dare these people on the left care about the 514,000 dead Americans and countless others who are going to suffer with breathing and other conditions for the rest of their life. Shh, losers.
Don't want to waste it. You see statists in California putting 37 tons of sand in a skate park because ain't nobody having fun.
Yeah, you shouldn't be going to a skate park during a global pandemic. Correct. I'm sure they'll remove the sand once COVID is dealt with.
While the socialists are in charge. We see Bill de Blasio in New York.
It would be like if during the Black Death or something, a politician was like, all these, I don't even know what they would be called. All these healers don't want us to go to the public square and interact and drink from the public cistern. But what about my freedoms? Like, that's... And I know the Black Death was spread by fucking fleas on rats, okay? Don't correct me. That's the closest metaphor I could give. You're literally fighting against restrictions to help protect people from dying and being permanently disabled by a respiratory disease.
Sending people in to shut down parks and to throw young Orthodox Jewish kids out of the parks because, God forbid...
The fact that they are Jewish or Orthodox Jewish has nothing to do with them not being allowed in the parks. How disingenuous.
Children have fun. We see leftists across the country shutting down churches.
They're shutting down all places of public accommodation where people gather in large amounts in close quarters. It's not about it being religious. You can have religious services online, or, God forbid, have them in your own home, privately, because even Jesus said, like, those who worship in public for others to see them pray are hypocrites.
California, they've helpfully explained. You can go out and protest. You can scream and yell, abolish the police. And this virus, magically, no one will get infected.
Protesters were wearing masks, which serves a dual purpose, honestly. I guess people on the 6th didn't figure that one out. But anyway, they were wearing masks and all that jazz.
You can French kiss the guy next to you, yelling, abolish the police.
Hot.
And no one...
Is that just a straight up gay joke, by the way? Is that just supposed to be a, haha, the left has gay people who exist? It's 2021 and the Republican Party still finds the existence of homosexuals to be a hilarious punchline.
One will get infected. But if you go to church and say Amazing Grace,
you're in a confined building next to a bunch of other people directly, like, adjacent to you? and you're in a closed space, not outside. Do you not understand how, like, airflow works? Do you not understand that, like, if something is an airborne disease and you're in a closed space, you're going to be more likely to catch that than if you're, like, outside, distance from people, wearing masks?
Everyone's going to die. By the way, how many of y'all have eaten at a restaurant in the last 6 months?
How many of you are idiots who are prolonging this for everyone else? Woo! I don't care about other people's safety.
Can I just stop and say how strange the rules are right now? I want to understand how this virus works. So when you walk in, you got to put your mask on. Sadly, I've got two. You walk in, you got to put your mask on. You sit down, you take your mask off.
Yeah, restaurants shouldn't be open at all. You shouldn't be going to restaurants. I agree. The problem is you think we should just not do anything, whereas really the solution is restaurants should still be closed.
See, apparently the virus is actually connected to elevation.
No, right-wingers like you idiots demanded restaurants get opened, so they did, in a really stupid way. They should be closed.
No, remember, this is all about science. It's actually, it may not be elevation. I think it's that there are hormones that are released in your thighs when you're sitting. So you can sit at the table and there's no virus being transmitted.
No, there is. Don't go to restaurants, please. Please don't go to a restaurant. Order takeout if you must.
But if you stand up, put the mask on! And listen, let's be clear, this is a dangerous virus.
I just joked about it, but let's be clear, it's dangerous. Sorry, 500,000 people are dead. Whoopsie.
But these collectivist statists, okay, now they're saying everybody can get immunized. We can have herd immunity everywhere, and we're going to wear masks for the next 300 years.
No. No one is saying that.
And by the way, not just one mask. 2, 3, 4. You can't have too many masks. How much virtue do you want to signal?
I would like to keep respiratory diseases out of my body. Thank you. I don't even think you can see when people are wearing multiple masks anyway. Usually I've seen, like, guides for people to wear multiple masks. It's like one of the thinner paper type ones, and then they wear a cloth mask over it. I've seen it. It doesn't look like I've seen it online when people do it. If I wasn't paying attention, I wouldn't even notice people were wearing multiple masks. I care if people are wearing masks. But I don't care how many masks they wear if they're wearing them, as long as they're wearing them.
This is just dumb.
All health professionals agree, virtually, that this is good and measures we're taking are good and even not enough. And Ted Cruz's response to all doctors is, "This is dumb, though." Cool.
You know, the U.S.
Oh, yeah. Melissa, my electrologist, apparently wears too. I didn't even notice.
Capitol has giant fences with razor wires and 5,000 National Guard standing out front.
Yeah, because you guys tried to do an insurrection. You tried to kill Congress. That'll happen when you do a terrorism in Washington, D.C.
Because the Democrats are convinced.
This would be like if Ted Cruz went into some restaurant and shit on the floor, and then the next day he came back and there was a sign up that said, "No shitting on the floor." And he went, "Why is this no shitting on the floor sign up? All these liberal elites telling us not to shit on the floor. What's that sign for?" Well, Ted, you shit on the floor yesterday. Thus requiring the sign. We had to take measures to prevent further shits. In this case, the shit being insurrection attempts.
That political theater helps them. Let's be clear, this is not about security at this point. This is about political theater. Half the country, the deplorables, are dangerous.
You are.
And they're going to turn the Capitol into a military outpost in Baghdad just to have their compliant media echo that message.
Or, how about this? Y'all committed terrorism like 2 months ago, less than 2 months actually. We're still 5 days away from it being 2 months. Y'all committed a terrorist attack on Congress, the likes of which has never been seen in the United States. That'll do it.
But do you know what terrifies every one of these statists?
Ooh. Let me see. What terrifies statists? Lack of health care. The military-industrial complex. Children going hungry and having lunch debt. John Doyle's face. Kenneth Copeland.
The truth.
I don't have a response to this. Enjoy this ASMR in lieu of a response to that incredibly ironic statement.
Liberty's powerful. Liberty's persuasive. Liberty is fun. You know, last week, we lost the great Rush Limbaugh.
Bingo card, bingo card, bingo card. Rush Limbaugh.
I was so blessed and so fortunate to call Rush a friend. And Rush understood the power of liberty. You know, before there was Hannity, before there was Tucker, before there was Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder, before there was Donald Trump, there was Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, I want to vomit. Ugh.
And before there was Section 230, there was something called the Fairness Doctrine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Reagan did away with the Fairness Doctrine, guys.
Which gave leftists in Washington the power to silence views they didn't like. We got rid of the Fairness Doctrine, and Rush Limbaugh started by going on 1 a.m.
The Fairness Doctrine basically said your news needs to be, like, nonpartisan. Your broadcast needs to be nonpartisan, and then Reagan and his cabinet and everyone, they did away with it, which led the way for, like, Rush Limbaugh and Fox News, and basically put us in the situation we're in now. Fox News probably would have happened regardless, because the Fairness Doctrine, at least as far as I understand, only applied to broadcast and not stuff like cable, but still, no bueno.
Station. And then a second AM station, and then a third, and then a fourth, and then a fifth, and the voice of liberty spread like prairie fire.
Guys, remember when Rush Limbaugh would, in a funny segment, make fun of people who were dying of AIDS, and he would, like, play their names with music over it to be like, haha, isn't it funny that LGBT people die of AIDS? Let's celebrate him here at this political event, though. That's great.
And let me tell you right now, in Los Angeles, there's some skater kid who's 19, who's told that it's hip and chic and cool to be a leftist socialist man.
That's how this works, by the way. Hey, did you guys know it's cool to be a leftist socialist man? I definitely do. Hold on. I gotta get my cool glasses. Well, I'll use these. This'll work. Because we gotta live in a transhumanist, cyberpunk, cool future, right? That's what we're going for? Hey, fellow kids! Welcome to the future! Do you want to be cool? Become a leftist. You dig? Also, healthcare. We'll give you healthcare and college. So please stop voting for Republicans so we can end this nightmare.
Who's going to hear a message? Wait a second. These guys don't want me to speak, think, have fun, do what I want to do?
Leftists traditionally have no fun, which is why I'm very serious all the time.
The message of liberty is profoundly subversive. The left believes in rigid conformity. We believe in diversity, free speech. You can say whatever you want, no matter.
You can. You have free speech, but Twitter's a private platform.
No matter how dumb it is. And by the way, in Washington, D.C., we test that proposition.
The irony of Ted Cruz saying that is pretty palpable.
Religious liberty, you can worship however you like on your knees before Almighty God.
That's pretty specific to the Christian God, isn't it? You also have the right to not worship, or worship different gods, or worship your God if you believe, like, Allah, that version of, like, the Yahweh God is God.
Or you can worship the almighty dollar.
Ew.
Or you can worship, I don't know, pink Martians. That's the beauty of freedom, the Second Amendment. Oh, the left hates the Second Amendment.
I've said before, I'm fine with guns. I'm also fine with, like, reforming background checks so it's all in computer systems, easily accessible, so those can get done quicker, and honestly more effectively. Universal background checks in one database, and, like, restrictions on, like, mag size and stuff, but, like, I don't care. Own guns if you want.
Because they want their people docile and compliant. You know,
not really.
When we saw riots all across the country.
Is that docile and compliant then? Doesn't that just fly in the face of what you just said?
I remember there were reports that riots were going to come into mostly peaceful, fiery but mostly peaceful.
Do you know what
there
mostly
were reports
means?
Riots were going to come into the suburbs. I got to tell you, in Houston, where I live, there weren't any rioters. Because let's be very clear.
There weren't any rioters in any suburbs.
If there had been, they would discover what the state of Texas thinks about the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms.
Haha, we're gonna shoot people. Yay.
So defend liberty. But number two, have fun. Have fun. You know, so many on the right, they act like they got a stick inserted somewhere it doesn't belong. Like, just lighten up. Especially now, the left, they are shrill. They are angry.
Yeah, stop being shitbags.
How many leftists does it take to screw in a light bulb? That's not funny!
I was actually anticipating the joke. Don't get me wrong, conservatives usually aren't funny because they don't have a good sense of humor, but whatevs.
Like, God bless! Who would want to be around these people? You know, Jerry Seinfeld doesn't tell comedy anymore because any joke that's funny is canceled.
I mean, Jerry Seinfeld hasn't been funny since B-Movie, so I think that's more on him. The audience doesn't think my material is funny anymore. Is this cancel culture? Maybe get better material, Jerry? Jesus fucking Christ.
You know, SNL is unwatchable. The late night comedy. They stand up and say, we hate Donald Trump. Yeah, no kidding. We didn't get that the last 9,000 times you told that.
I mean, Donald Trump should have probably stopped doing dumb things every single week then. I get it. The commentary that SNL just isn't funny anymore has been a running joke since, like, the 80s. As it turns out, most of Saturday Night Live just isn't all that funny. It's just that there are some bits that once you get it, they get it very right, and it's very funny.
You know, in 2020, the New York Times reported that 60% of women named Karen voted for Joe Biden. That's actually real. You can look it up, the fact checkers. That's what the New York Times reported. And I'm willing to bet 80% of the men named Karen voted for Joe Biden.
This transphobic joke on here somewhere. One sec. I'm gonna say that falls under two genders at science. It's probably close enough. That one gets the applause. Boy, they really, really don't like trans people.
Just have fun. You know, yeah.
When your definition of fun is making fun of other people for existing, your fun kind of fucking sucks, dude.
Yesterday, John Boehner made some news. He suggested that I do something that was anatomically impossible. To which my response was...
I think he told him to, like, stick his head up his butt or something.
...who's John Boehner? And you know what? There are a whole lot of voices in Washington that want to just erase the last 4 years. Want to go back to the world before where we...
That'd be pretty rad. Please back off the fascism. I'd really appreciate it.
...had government of the lobbyists, by the lobbyists, and for the lobbyists.
You're still doing that. You're just doing it while also being fashy. That's not good.
Where the Republicans' compelling message was, Republicans, we waste less.
As opposed to this whole speech where you said nothing and had no policy positions other than vacuous pap about freedoms and liberty, which mean nothing, really? Anyone can go and talk about, like, I love freedom. Okay, what does that mean specifically? We all believe in freedom. Now, what are you saying specifically when you say that? You just don't want public health policy to exist. That's not cool.
And they look at Donald J. Trump, and they look at the millions and millions of people inspired who went to battle fighting alongside President Trump, and they're terrified.
Yeah, fascist coups are pretty scary, as it turns out.
And they want him to go away. Let me tell you this right now, Donald J. Trump ain't going anywhere.
I mean, I don't think he has a ton of say in that. He's incredibly out of shape and old, so we'll see if he's still around by 2024. I'm pretty 50-50 on it at this point, to be entirely honest. Yeah, Donald Trump did call this guy's wife ugly.
And the Republican Party is not the party just of the country clubs. The Republican Party is the party of steel workers and construction workers and pipeline workers.
As long as you're not in a union, then fuck off.
Taxi cab drivers and cops and firefighters and waiters and waitresses and the men and women with calluses on their hands who are working for this country. That is our party.
But also, let's make fun of AOC for being a bartender at one point.
party, and these deplorables are here to stay. Every one of you has a platform. Every one of you has a voice. The corporate media wants to silence these voices.
Not really. How is the corporate media gonna silence you? If you get banned from Twitter for spreading a conspiracy theory, I don't feel bad. Your free speech hasn't been removed in any way, shape, or form. You got kicked. You basically got kicked out of a Walmart for screaming about tinfoil hat stuff. It's the same thing, just in the online space.
You have a platform. You know, last year I launched a podcast.
Ted Cruz has a podcast? Oh, God, that sounds insufferable.
Ted Cruz.
I want to hear, honestly, I want to hear more of his spicy Star Wars takes from Ted Cruz.
25 million downloads in a year. By the way, please go subscribe. Verdict with Ted Cruz, Verdict with Ted Cruz. Click on subscribe, 5 stars, please. But you know what? You have the same platform. You have social media. You have your friends, your neighbors, your family, your classmates. Speak out for freedom. Because I'm going to close with these words of encouragement. These are dark days, and the media tells us this is the new galactic empire forever and 1,000 years. But
what are you talking about?
Already Joe Biden and the radicals in his administration, they are already overshooting. They are already...
The radicals in Joe Biden's administration. Oh, Lord.
...going too far. Their policies don't work.
They're going too far by what? What have they done so far that's going too far? They've not gone far enough. What are you talking about?
Disasters. They are bad.
Yeah, that should count as radical liberals. I agree.
They are destroying jobs. They are stripping our freedom. And there is...
In what way are they destroying jobs? In what way are they destroying your freedoms? What have they done?
Is a natural pendulum to politics. And the country will come back to sanity. And mark my words, 2022.
Imagine describing Donald Trump-type Republican politics as like normalcy or rationality or... ridiculous.
Is going to be a fantastic election year, and so is 2024 as we stand together and defend liberty, defend the Constitution, defend the Bill of Rights of every American. In the immortal words of William Wallace, freedom!
That one hurt. I'm not gonna lie. That one hurt pretty bad. Ted Cruz literally said nothing. It was a 17-minute speech in which he said nothing. I don't even think I could do that. And I'm like the queen of speaking vacuously. How do you speak for 17 minutes and say nothing? That's amazing. I guess Ted Cruz isn't talentless. And he does have a podcast. I guess we should check out that podcast on stream sometime, guys. Wouldn't that be fun? Jesus. Let's do some bit messages, and then we'll probably do Trump Jr.'s speech, which is thankfully shorter. It's only 12 minutes long.